Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be breakups cause men to withdraw. I've got an email here from a guy, he's a young guy, he's a college student, 19 years old, broke up with his girlfriend, and it's just been absolutely the most difficult thing he's ever gone through. He hasn't been to the gym in 3 weeks. He always has had a close relationship with his family. He's hardly talking to them at all. He's failing in his classes now, and life has just been a motherfucker. And shortly after his girlfriend dumped him, she started dating another guy. Well, she recently started reaching back out to him, and they started hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. But he's still in a really difficult place because now his life is kind of spun out of control. So I had a quote that I wrote in this topic, and I'm going to go through his email. And the quote says, when human beings are in a relationship, their identity becomes completely associated with being with that person, what they do together, and their relationship status. For most people, it is very traumatic and emotionally difficult to deal with a sudden breakup. It's incredibly hard to go from being part of a team where you eat together, sleep together, talk constantly, and spend most of your free time together, to not talking at all or never speaking again. Fear of the future and fear that you will never find anyone else like them or that the next one will be worse becomes dramatically amplified. It's healthy to take time to heal, but the best medicine for a recent breakup is looking into the eyes of someone who completely takes your breath away and makes you forget all about your ex. So get out there, participate in life, and become open to and excited about meeting the next great love of your life. The sooner you do, the sooner you will feel better, and the sooner it will happen. One of the books I'm just about to finish up, Elon Musk, there's a book that was done, I think it was Ashley Vance is the author's name. He spent the last several years interviewing Elon and talking about his life and everything, and it just reminds me of what this guy was going through. It was something that Elon Musk had gone through after his first marriage had ended. He was in Europe somewhere with a good friend of his, and they went to a night. He's like, "We got to go out, man." He's like, "I don't feel like going out." And he's bummed that his marriage is over, and he's in the process of getting a divorce. And it was a very public, nasty divorce. And like right in the middle of all of this, it's like the most difficult, challenging time at SpaceX and Tesla. They were literally weeks away from completely running out of money and him losing everything, every penny that he ever had, millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars of his own money and his friends' money, his investors' money, his friends' money, and lots of his employees' money that they had invested in the company to keep it going. And so he's just obviously bummed out and going through a traumatic time. Doesn't feel like being around him. He doesn't want to do anything. And he's like, "Come on, man, we got to go out." And he's like, "I don't want to go out." And so they go to this club. So I can't remember where it was, Paris or something like that. So they go to this club, and after 10 minutes, he's like, "I want to get the fuck out of here. This is no fun." He says, "Come on, man, let's have a drink. Let's have a good time." And so the guy, Elon's friend, gets on the phone and he calls another friend of his who is like an event type planner. When there's a party, he's like one of those people that knows a lot of people. He knows everybody. He can get on the phone and have tons of beautiful models show up. And if there's a club opening or there's a premiere or an art gallery or something, he's the type of guy who gets on the phone and has all these amazing, beautiful, interesting people show up. So he calls this guy, he gets on the phone, they get him into this VIP area so they can sit down and kind of relax and chill out instead of this crowded, nightclub where all these obnoxious people are bumping into him. So he's sitting down, he gets on the phone with this guy. This guy sends like 3 or 4 models and actresses that he knows over. And so he's sitting there, Elon's kind of, sipping his drink and he's not really having a good time. And so he gets introduced to this one girl. He's like, "How you doing?" And then he meets this other girl. Her name is Tallulah Riley. She's an actress. She was in, I think, Pride and Prejudice. She just had this big movie do really well. And so he goes from having this frown and he's miserable to, "Hey, how are you?" And it just completely makes all of his problems go away. And so he starts talking about the fact that he builds rockets and electric cars and all these things, and it just completely changed his attitude because he's bummed, his marriage is ending, he's potentially about to lose everything in a very nasty public divorce, and I mean, it's just being, the media's just having a field day with it, His companies are about to go under potentially, and it's just a dark time. And he meets this fucking beautiful woman who's charming, who's sweet, who's 22 at the time, successful aspiring actress, smart, and it just made everything disappear. And that's why it's so important, just like I shared in the quote, to just get, even when you don't feel like it, to get out there, to circulate amongst other human beings and be open to it. Even though you might be miserable and unhappy, just say, you know what, just say to yourself an affirmation. It sure would be nice to meet the next great love of my life. I can't wait to meet a really fucking great girl. It would be so awesome. Just think about that and focus on that and say that to yourself. When you feel shitty, yeah, I feel like shit right now, you acknowledge it, but you know what, it'd be really nice if I just bump into a girl who's just crazy about me, who just digs me from the moment we meet. And that's what happened. They met and there was just chemistry between each other. And that's the best medicine for a recent breakup. So let's go. I'm going to go through his email and analyze what he's doing right and give him my opinion on things. So he says, hey, Coach, I don't know if you're reading this or not, but first off, I just want to tell you how fucking awesome of a person you are. I'm just going to get straight to the point. I'm 19 years old, great with talking to girls, life of the party, good-looking guy, and am very sentimental as well. My girlfriend, after 3 years of dating, broke up with me about 2 months ago, and it literally changed my life so much more than I thought anything ever could. Yeah, again, if you're with somebody 24/7, you're living together, and all of a sudden you're never talking again, and you're just over, that's pretty traumatic. Because, like, what do? You know, most guys, most people, they kind of neglect their friends when they get into a relationship, and your friends are kind of pissed off when you call them again after, like, hey, oh, now your girlfriend dumps you, now you want to hang out, now you want to be my friend again. I had a good buddy that was like that in my 20s. It's just as soon as he got a girlfriend, he would disappear. He'd make plans with her, and he just wouldn't show up. And then you call him like, hey, where you at? And he would just not answer. And then, like, you'd run into him, or he'd call you the next day. He was like, what, we had plans? Like, come on, man, seriously? Didn't you play stupid with me like you don't remember? I used to go to the gym 6 days a week out of the week, bust my ass in school, and had a great relationship with my family. Now I'm failing my classes. I haven't been in the gym in about 3 weeks, and I hardly talk to my family. Go fucking hang out with your family, dude, and get your fucking ass in the gym even though you don't feel like it. Going to the gym is one of the best antidepressants that you can do. Exercise, it pumps oxygen in your body, it removes waste by moving your lymphatic system, and it gets essential nutrients to all the cells of your body. So you literally will physically feel better because of that. He says, I have become a bitch. I have just recently started watching your videos, and luckily I've realized I have become the needy bitch that my girlfriend does not want to be with. That is just my background to this situation. She broke up with me, told me she was tired of being in a relationship, and just wanted to be friends. No thanks. My cocky attitude made me think, yeah, you'll see how long we'll just be friends for. So I was like, okay, whatever. A few days later, I found out she already had been hanging out with another guy whom she had just met after breaking up with me, and kissed him the first time they hung out, which is huge because she's not that type of girl. Obviously, you don't know your girl very well. See, women know this instinctively. The best way to get over a breakup, even when you're hurting, they cry with their girlfriends, they talk all the time about it, but they get out even when they don't feel like it, and because women tend to be more emotional and more emotionally connected than guys are. And so they don't want to feel that pain anymore. And the best way to get over it, just like I was talking about, to meet somebody new. And you're going to feel like shit, but until you meet that, and when you do meet somebody, it just totally evaporates, that shitty feeling. So that began my bitch phase. I begged for her back, and she ignored me. Long story short, I visited my friends in college towns each weekend. She apologized and told me how much she missed me, and she ended up driving to where I was, and we had sex and slept together both weekends I went. Once we got back into our hometown after the weekend, she blew me off. However, for the past week, we have had sex regularly, and I have slept over her couch each night. But she started referring to me as her friend and told me she still had feelings for that other guy who stopped talking to her completely. So she got blown off by the other dude, and now she's like, hey, I miss you. I finally had enough, but was too big of a pussy to tell her. until I was told about your videos. Then a few days ago I told her, listen, I can't keep doing this. I'm not going to be just your friend, so this is ending now. I only want to be with you in a romantic way, nothing more, nothing less. She started crying and then got pissed and said, okay, that's fine with me. After one day of no communication, she's begging me to hang out with her again. The strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and mean it. That's why you got to move on with your life. Even though it hurts, even though it's a motherfucker, you got to move on and take care of yourself. Go to the gym and hang out with your family, even when you don't feel like it. What's actually good is the more you talk about it. That's why I think therapy is so great and seeing psychologists is so great. And a lot of guys that come to me, they have already got a marriage counselor and a therapist helping them with their issues and helping them work through shit from childhood. And I think I work with a lot of coaches and therapists. And I coach a lot of coaches and therapists and psychologists. I think it could be very helpful, very beneficial, especially if you grew up in a family that doesn't talk and doesn't communicate. And a lot of the really good psychologists and really good therapists are all like, go get yourself a good life coach. And so I have a lot of clients come to me that have a therapist and have a counselor, or have a psychologist that have been told, go get yourself a life coach so they can help you figure out some goals, figure out your purpose, and get you taking action and doing those things. I told her no because I'm not going to be friends with her, and she said maybe she wants to be more than friends, but that is exactly what she did both weekends when I was away, so I know she's just trying to use me. Don't look at it that way, dude. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Never call or text her again. She unilaterally changed the terms of your relationship. So if your goal, your outcome is to get back together with her, she's got to make the effort to win you back. If you see yourself as a prize, you're not going to chase after somebody who ditched you, who blew you off. Just like you said, you got back in town and she blows you off. That's why you don't pursue somebody. I mean, she blows you off, starts dating another guy, and when it doesn't work out, she wants to come crawling back. You start hanging out, have fun, and hooking up. And as soon as you start to chase her, she's going to bounce on you. That's why you got to let her come to you at her own pace. It was her idea to end it. Therefore, it's got to be her idea to rekindle it. If you think you're awesome and you're a catch and you've been discarded when you still cared, the one that ditched you and walked away, that stopped participating in your relationship, they got to make the effort to fix it. That's the way you need to look at it. And therefore, if they reach out, you assume they want to see you, and you create an opportunity for sex to happen, which is what a date is. And for at least the first 3 times, make them come to you, which is obviously what he did. He was hanging out with his buddies in other towns, and she drove to see him. That's what you want. That shows she's making the effort, and you got to keep her doing that. Because if she's doing that, guess what? It's her idea. And if it's her idea, women don't dump guys that they're chasing and that they're in love with. I know by the time you're reading this, either I'm going to be completely done with her or we're going to be back together. You got to stop focusing on the relationship and locking her down to a commitment, because if you do, you're going to fuck it up. But I feel like this is still such a good topic to talk about. Once again, you do not understand how much stronger you have made me. God bless you, man. Well, you're doing good. The only caveat is that you're focused on locking her down to a commitment. That's the wrong thing. Your job as a man, just like I talk about in my book, is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Read my book 10 to 15 times, learn the fundamentals, because the only way it's going to become instinctive is if you know it without thinking about it. And that only comes from reading it 10 to 15 times. Get in touch with your family and hang out and talk about how you feel. If you got other issues, go see a therapist, go see a counselor. They can help you tremendously. There's lots of great ones out there all over the world. Everywhere you got good licensed therapists and psychologists that can help you in that area. Especially if you've got mommy and daddy issues or unresolved traumas or whatever it happens to be. Those people are totally qualified and can do a kick-ass job to help you get your head screwed on right, so you can take the things that you're learning from me and apply them and get great results. Get your fucking ass back in the gym and start studying and get serious about school, because you can't fuck that up, dude. Got to take masculine energy is about purpose, drive, mission, succeeding, accomplishing, breaking through barriers, taking action. That's why you need to take action to study and focus on the things at school that you need to be focused on, because a man always does that no matter what. No matter the highs, no matter the lows, doesn't fucking matter. And one of the things I admire about guys like Elon Musk or Tony Robbins or Steve Jobs or any great successful person, they've gone through really difficult Steve Jobs got fired from the fucking company that he founded in the 1980s. I mean, think about that. Childhood dreams have found a great company. He gets fired from his own company. Can you imagine? Kicked out of his own company that he founded in his fucking parents' garage. And think about that for a minute. So every successful person has gone through a difficult time. But what they all have in common, and even when I've gone through difficult things in my own life, which I've talked about many times in other videos, is that even when I didn't feel like it, I still took action. You have to do that. If you take action, it gets you in the present moment and gets you focused on what must be done right now, today, to keep moving forward. Just try to get a little bit better each day. That's something to think about. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I shall talk to you soon.